And now, the most reasonable talk show host from Sop Choppy to the Redneck Riviera, here is Bob Kerrigan.
Welcome and good evening. We're here at Within Reason with Bill Rankin tonight. We've got all kinds of great stuff. And for the last 2 weeks, I've enjoyed not hearing any criticism of my opinions. I've not had to defend what I've said. It's been overwhelmingly accepted by our viewers, and I thank you. But now, of course, Mr. Rankin's back and the naysayer. But I want to start this tonight on a positive note. The percentage of, or the rank of Texas among states with the nation's highest teen pregnancy rate. What do you think they are?
I think they'd be right up there. Probably.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3. Percentage of Texas.
Why is that?
Percentage of Texas public school district that teach abstinence as their only form of sex education. You know what that percentage is?
Yeah.
94.
Right.
So now, no cause and effect necessarily, but
the only thing,
because it's hot in Texas.
There's nothing wrong with teaching abstinence except for it doesn't work. But other than that, it's kind of nice, don't you think?
It's kind of nice. Would you care to make a comment about Nancy Pelosi, perhaps?
Oof. Beneath contempt, but with you, an enemy of Nancy Pelosi, would probably
her. Yeah, she in all fairness.
You think she's lying?
Oh, well, I think she's telling the dead truth. And you know what's so interesting about it? Listen to this. This is a good story. Okay, we have time before the break. As they go after Nancy Pelosi, this is from Zachary Roth from Visit Article Original Talking Points Memo. I'm not sure where the source of this is, but I got it from the Truth Out website. But here's what the author says. As they go after Nancy Pelosi over those CIA briefings, Republicans have been putting the burden of proof on the speaker, suggesting it's all but unheard of for the CIA to mislead others in government. You know, as if the CIA was committed to the truth. All right. But in fact, the agency is currently being probed for doing exactly that on a different issue. And the effort was initiated by one of Pelosi's fiercest critics on the torture briefings, Kerfuffle. Okay?
There's really somebody named Kerfuffle?
I didn't know that. A legislator. Last night, Representative Jan Schakowsky, who chairs the Oversight Subcommittee on the House Intelligence Committee, told MSNBC's Ed Schultz, okay, on our subcommittee, we're beginning an inquiry into a situation initiated by the ranking minority member to look at the situation where the CIA did mislead the Congress, a documented issue of the CIA misleading the Congress. You know what it was about? When they shot down those people in Peru, in that airplane in Peru. And then they said they thought it were drug smugglers, you know, because apparently only drug smugglers fly airplanes in Peru, especially small, light planes. It probably may be, at least the CIA thought that. We have a caller that has been so carefully screened that he's finally going to let somebody talk tonight. James, are you there?
We're here.
You're in. You're up. You're on. What's up?
Okay, I have a little editorial for Bill. I don't know what planet he's on, but it seems like he's a closet Republican the way it seems like they want to change the subject. The point I'd like to make is Pelosi, back in 2002 and 2003, if she would have said anything about what was going on, they'd have been trying to hang her for treason. So I think it's a con job. The Republicans changed the subject. They don't want to tell the truth. I won't say they lie, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that. I think Pelosi handled it wrong, and it was a completely different time back when this came out. And yeah, it gives the Republicans the opportunity to put Pelosi in the spotlight for a lot of things that were done wrong under the Republican
administration. Yeah, they kind of forgot that Bush was the one that did it.
Yeah.
So, well, you knew about it, so you're just as guilty. So wait just a second. She was at that time she was a House Minority Leader, right? I mean, she wasn't even. Yeah. I mean, they briefed her, and then Bill, there's no memos. Right? I mean, there's no letters.
There's a CIA memo that.
No, they have a CIA memo. But what I'm saying is, there's nothing coming from her confirming the information that was given to her, how it was given to her. There are no notes that are made contemporaneous. Don't you think that's kind of odd? If you're being briefed about this departure from torture and they're explaining to you that they've got legal opinions supporting it and all, Where's her file of information?
She could have written letters. She shouldn't go on television and say they're torturing the Al Qaeda suspect. But there are things she could have done as a ranking.
Anything would have been accomplished if she tried?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Give me a break.
I'm basically agreeing with you that this is kind of a tempest in a teapot. But
what about Bob Graham? I mean, he was in a much more influential position. He hasn't said anything. He had the same briefing. Hasn't opened his mouth, hasn't said a word about it. Now I want to go to this story. This is dear to your heart. A fiercely debated, long-delayed investigation into Ireland's Roman Catholic-run institutions says priests and nuns terrorized thousands of boys and girls in workhorse-style schools for decades, and government inspectors failed to stop the chronic beating, rapes, and humiliations. 9 years in the making, Wednesday's 2,600-page report sides almost completely with the horrific reports of abuse from former students sent to more than 250 church-run, mostly residential institutions. But victims' leaders said it didn't go far enough, particularly because none of their abusers were identified by name. Any comment?
Yeah. If you have people who can't be scrutinized, who are above scrutiny because they're saintly or whatever, then you're going to get bad things happening.
How can the Pope now, without offending our Catholic people, how can the Pope say he extends his great empathy and concern and apologizes, when the truth is, it was like the time he apologized that anybody misunderstood his comment about the Muslims. You know, it's like, what is he apologizing for? Why isn't the appropriate apology is we have high degrees of culpability because as an institution, we have allowed not only all of this to happen, but we've covered it all up. That's the time-honored tradition.
I don't know that there's anything wrong with that apology because the Pope didn't have...
He didn't, but the apology is we feel sorry for what happened. How about a damned explanation about, how about revealing all the files in the Vatican? How about producing all the records in Ireland that show all of this, every bit of it, and make it all public and name all these people? Why not do it? Okay, now, your favorite former president gets a kudo here today on this story. You'll be happy to know that. A report on the GQ magazine website is quoting unnamed former Bush administration officials as blaming former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld for many failures, not surprising, including a delay in military assistance in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. The report says, in speaking with the former Bush officials, it becomes evident that Rumsfeld impaired administration performance on a host of matters extending well beyond Iraq to impact America's relations with other nations, the safety of our troops, and the response to Hurricane Katrina. 3 years later, when he asked a top White House official how he would characterize Rumsfeld's assistance in the response to Hurricane Katrina, pardon me, I found out why. It was commonly known in the West Wing that there was a battle with Rumsfeld regarding this, said the official. I can't imagine other defense secretaries throwing up their hands and throwing up the kinds of obstacles he did. The story goes on. It's really a very complimentary story, saying that Bush called Rumsfeld and said, do you see what people are seeing? And on television, he said, this is the United States of America. Look at what people are seeing about this country. And I did think that Bush has not gotten any credit for that at all.
That's the first time I've heard it. I mean, what you hear about is nice job, Brownie.
You do. But I mean,
doing a heck of a job.
You have to keep a face on bad times. You know, you can't just be pitiful. But apparently he just raised hell with Bush. And finally, Bush just said, hey, get it done, do it. And that is that Rumsfeld kept saying, well, all we need in this, the only thing we need is the National Guard, which of course proved to be totally inadequate. We're going to be back next week within reason. This program is rebroadcast, and you can check your listings on WUWF.org, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.